Hello, and welcome back to another episode of fellowindhaka. This episode is quite special because it's my second monthly update, and so there's a lot of things to recap and share, along with some new information that has happened this past week. Over the month, I have been fortunate to attend two conferences. One was for the conference on campus that was sponsored by the English Language Department, and the other was for the BELTA, the Bangladeshi English Language Teachers Association, their 10th annual conference. I presented at that, and it was a great joy to meet a lot of contacts. I had an opportunity to do Thanksgiving with the people at Geist, and I have also most recently taken part in a graduation ceremony for the Micro Scholarship Access Program. That was a really nice event to see a lot of students making their way towards their higher education. Now, as of this past week, there have been some new things that have happened. One recent thing that happened yesterday was the undergraduate entrance exam for new students at the university. And I was able to take part by invigilating and then marking the compositions that the students made. I was able to see again how a lot of students have been taught how to take a test. They've been taught more or less, especially for the reading composition, it was a bit disappointing because the reading was on music and the history of music, which would have been a fascinating topic, but the students were more interested in just finding the correct answers. And so after a few minutes of looking through into the exam, they're flipping back and forth trying to find the correct answers, looking through the text to find an answer as opposed to actually reading the text to get a full understanding. So I was a bit disappointed to see that, but I can understand their justification. Another point was that in the composition, looking at how they're writing, again, I see this in my classes, how students, many of them don't answer the question that they're given. They write off topic, and a lot of people are not familiar with what a paragraph is. It seems difficult to comprehend what a paragraph actually is, where they just write a lot of information and then think it's a paragraph. But if you write too much information, then it should be broken up because it allows for clarity and understanding. But if you have too much information, the reader can get lost. And a lot of students don't seem to understand this. Another thing that has happened, been watching the World Cup and have seen some promising movements between some of the countries. It's good to see some activity here in Bangladesh. The country is pretty much split into Argentina or Brazil supporters. Being a supporter of neither, it's interesting just to see and hear, especially hear all of the crowd and the reactions, especially when either of those two teams are playing. I can hear them late at night celebrating the goals from the outside. So that's a new development that's happened this month. As for classes, they are slowly coming close to an end. Next week, well, later on, pretty soon, I will start giving a conversation class at a temple, at a Hindu school, I believe. And I'll have more information on that in the upcoming days. I'm looking forward to this as it's a new project for outreach, and I think it will be interesting to learn not only from them, but what they can learn from me and how I can work in that dynamic. I also had a meeting with another faculty member at ULAB, the University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh, about giving my presentation with some of their students and teachers because having talked a little bit more about the presentation that I gave at Belta, there's a lot, it's quite a deep conversation that should be held, and I just didn't have the time at the conference. So at this workshop that we're looking into planning, we'll really get into that, and it can be beneficial for all parties. Other than that, that's all that's happened this past month, this past week, and I'm looking forward to experiencing a lot of new things and moving to a lot of new places, all of that. And please stay tuned for another episode of Fellowindhaka. Thank you.